Alright, we'll start with the part 1. Let's begin. Assignment 10. Novel. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Chapter 3, 4, 5 and 6. Assalamu alaikum dear students. How are you doing? I'm sure you will be in the best of your health and you must have completed your home task too. I hope you have got your books and SPSC notebooks. Okay, today we are going to do novel and we will divide it into several parts according to the need. So we are going to discuss the chapters as well as the character sketch, and I will in the end show you a character sketch as well. So let's start with the sight words. As you know, you have to repeat after me, so do repeat after me. Smelting, parchment, furiously, crept, miserably, trodden, suspension, splattered, deafening, shuddered, mumbled, scrambled, grunted, knitting, escalator, quivered, stalactites, stalagmites, emporium, swarming, briskly, compartment, tarantula, clambered. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief introduction that what happened before. As you know about Harry, he lives with his cruel Dursleys, uncle and aunt. He lives in a cupboard under stairs. He unintentionally makes things happen. He doesn't know anything about his parents and has no other relative. He can also talk to strangers. Alright, we are going to start with chapter 3. The letter is from no one. Harry is punished because of the escaping snake through the rest of the year. Even though it's summer, he is still tormented by Dudley and all of his friends from school. The bullies like to chase Harry and are always trying to hunt him down. Harry is a punching bag for Dudley. Harry can't wait for the fall when he'll start at a different school from Dudley. Dudley will be going to Mr. Dursley's old private school, while Harry is going to be attending the local public school. Mrs. Dursley takes Dudley to buy his school uniform, and the Dursleys act super proud of Dudley. The next day, he sees Mrs. Dursley dyeing some of Dudley's old clothes grey for him to wear at school, and worries about how mockable he'll look. When the mail arrives, for the first time ever, the mail includes something for Harry. The letter is on beautiful paper addressed to him in his bedroom and has a great wax seal. He delivers the rest of the mail to Dursley's and is starting to open his letter when Mr. Dursley snatches it from him. He refuses to give it back too. When he sees what's written there, he totally freaks out and shows it to his wife. They listen in and hear the Dursleys worrying that they have been spied on and decide to ignore the letter. Mr. Dursley says he won't have it. Later that day, Mr. Dursley tells Harry he's burnt the letter, but thinks he should move into Dudley's second bedroom instead of sleeping under the stairs. While Harry would usually have been so excited to get out of his cupboard, all he can think about is his missing letter. The next day, Dudley can't believe that Harry's still in his second bedroom. He wants to meet the postman, but he can't. He goes to get the mail and finds another letter for Harry. Harry and Mr. Dursley make a mad dash for the letter and they all tussle until Mr. Dursley grabs the letter. He sends Harry to his room, although Harry is upset not to have his letter. He hopes whosoever is sending them will keep on doing so. Harry gets up really early the next morning and sneaks downstairs. He wants to meet the postman and get the mail before everyone else could do. As he moves down this door, he steps on something that screams and he realizes that his uncle is already there. Mr. Dursley tells him to go make tea. While he's gone, the mail arrives. There are 3 letters addressed to Harry, and Mr. Dursley tears them all up before nailing the mail slot shut. The next day, 12 letters arrive for Harry. The day after that, 24 letters come, and the day after that, Sunday. Mr. Dursley is relieved because the mail isn't scheduled, but letters start flying into the house, coming through the chimney and fireplace. He freaks out and orders everyone to pack. They all rush to the car and drive around aimlessly for a whole day, before stopping in some hotel outside a city. The next morning, the hotel's owner tries to deliver a letter to Harry, but Mr. Dursley keeps him from getting it. They go on the move again. Harry realizes the next day will be his 11th birthday. Mr. Dursley directs them to an isolated shack surrounded by water. It's cold and miserable, and a storm rages around outside. Mr. Dursley is sure they won't get any letter there. The Dursleys divide the available blankets and beds amongst the 3 of them. Harry is left to sleep on the floor with only a small coverlet. He can't fall asleep and thinks about how his birthday is coming. At midnight, as it turns into Harry's birthday, there is a tremendously loud knocking at the door. Okay, now we are going to start chapter 4, the Keeper of the Keys. So do you have any idea who's the Keeper of the Keys? Okay. The knocking wakes them up all. Mr. Dursley aims a gun at the door and yells. The door smashed in by a giant man. He says hello to Harry and tells him he looks like his parents, especially mother. Mr. Dursley tells him to leave. The giant just breaks Dursley's gun. Then he wishes Harry Potter a happy birthday and even gives him a cake. He says he's Hagrid, Keeper of the Keys at Hogwarts. He lights a real fire in the fireplace and produces all the elements for a solid meal out of his pocket. Harry eats and asks Hagrid more about who he is. Hagrid says he should know about Hogwarts. When Harry says he doesn't, Hagrid is shocked and amazed. Hagrid gets angry over Dursleys for hiding the truth about Harry's parents in Hogwarts. Hagrid reveals to Harry that his parents inhabited a separate world where they are famous and that Harry is famous too. Mr. Dursley tries to keep Harry from knowing all this, but of course it doesn't work. Hagrid is even angrier when he finds out that Dursleys never gave Harry the letter from Dumbledore. He tells Harry he's a wizard and probably will be a good one when he receives some training. He finally gives him his letter. Harry reads the letter on stationery from the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, signed by Deputy Headmistress Minerva McGonagall. The letter says Harry has been accepted to the school and gives him a list of supplies to get. It also says he should confirm his acceptance with an owl by the end of July. When Harry asks what it means by owl, Hagrid remembers something and pulls an owl out of his coat. He writes a short letter to Dumbledore saying he's given Harry his letter, gives this newsletter to the owl, and releases it into the storm. Mr. Dursley says Harry is not leaving, but Hagrid says Muggles can't stop it. Who are Muggles? Muggles are the non-magic people. Harry also asks the same question. Hagrid tells Harry what really happened to his parents. He says a wizard in their world named Voldemort, he wanted power, killed anyone who went against him. The only safe place in the world was Hogwarts. Voldemort visited their house 10 years ago when Harry was just a baby. Voldemort wanted Harry's parents to join him or to destroy them. He continues that Voldemort killed Harry's parents. Voldemort tried to kill Harry too, but couldn't. The scar on his forehead is from an evil curse Voldemort tried to put on him. Harry is famous because he is the only person who ever survived the death curse. Harry asks what happened to Voldemort, and Hagrid says that they don't know. No one has seen or heard from him in 10 years. They're not sure if he died, lost heart, or what. All they know is that someone is Harry Potter. Somehow helped defeat him. Dursleys don't want Harry to go and misbehave with Hagrid. He is angry. Cast a spell that gives Dudley a pig's tail. The three Dursleys are so frightened by that they run to the other room and hide. Hagrid asks Harry to keep that a secret since he is not really supposed to do magic in Muggle world. He reveals that he went to Hogwarts but was expelled. He tells Harry to go to sleep because they have a lot of work to do the next day.